2. Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of Live. This is Live After No Mercy, the Grab 'em by the Mercy episode. SmackDown, they have themselves their second brand exclusive show tonight, and it's very interesting. Some decisions that were made by booking. Some people might question, other people might be very, very pleased with. But we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start with the pre-show, which was an 8-man tag team. American Alpha and the Hype Bros take on the Ascension and the VOD Villains. Now, this was a very fun match. Very fun, very energetic. I loved the energy. Like, Mojo Rawley, his energy is just infectious to me. He's just, I'm very happy that the "he ain't hype" chant is getting over with the audience. Seems very infectious to me, and like pretty soon, like everybody's gonna be saying it with them. So, what did you think about this? The opening match.
I thought that the opening match was really, really good, and thankfully we can get this show on the air. And we had a little bit of technical difficulties to start out with, folks, but
it always happens to us on Saturday. I don't know how to explain it. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but here we are. We're here for you people.
Yep, Tonya and Fizzy are here today to talk about No Mercy, and I thought the pre-show match was really good. I mean, I particularly enjoyed the selling performance by Mr. Aiden English, because this is the first time I've really been impressed by English in any of the matches that he's had. The rest of it was your standard tag fare, babyfaces win, heels lose, and I thought it was really enjoyable. It was a really nice way to start off the show. So what were your thoughts on it, Tonya?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that. It was nice to see Jordan Jones and his hot tag. God, it's just, I just love when he suplexes people all over the place. It just gives me such a rush. Like, that guy, like, when American Alpha, when they do eventually split them, I think he has a really bright future as a singles competitor. It was just a pretty fun match, a good way to get the crowd into the show. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Now, we can move on to the main card, which they kind of switched it up tonight because of mostly because of the debate tonight, but also because of Sunday Night Football, I suppose, where they claimed it was the main event. But in my mind, the main event is the match that goes on last. The WWE World Championship triple threat match between John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and the champion, AJ Styles. Now, I want you to get your thoughts on this match first, Fizzy.
I thought it was the perfect position on the card for Dean Ambrose for once in his life to be the opening match of the card, and now we will hear the tirade of angry Dean Ambrose fans going, "Fizzy, what are you doing now?" I'll explain. Dean Ambrose is now in the perfect position on the card that I've always thought that he should be in, which is near the opener or second, third match on the card. But instead, they have brought down the phenomenal Hobo and John Cena down to his level for this triple threat match, which I thought was very by the numbers. I just could not get myself interested into this match. For whatever reason, there just something seemed to be off. Whether it was because of the fact that Dean kept interfering in spots, or John and AJ couldn't get a chemistry going with each other. Just something seemed really off, and usually Ambrose is very good in triple threat matches, and I thought he did well here. Now, I will say that. He did very well in this match. It's just that I think as far as card position goes, I personally was very happy it ended up as the opener of the match instead of as the main event, because just something about it seemed off. Nobody seemed to be on their game in this match except for, Dean did well, which I was surprised by. But you can tell that both Dean and John have their thoughts elsewhere, as both of them are going to be doing outside projects here within the next month or so. I believe Cena's off to go film American Grit Season 2, and Dean has gotten himself another part in a movie. So, where does AJ Styles go from here? What do you think? And what are your thoughts on the match, Tonya?
Well, I love the match, actually. It was kind of frantic, and like I liked that too many, usually the triple threat is most of the time just like a one-on-one match with somebody sleeping on the outside. And Dean did get a little nap in during the match, but for the most part, all three of them were interacting and bouncing off of each other for most of the match. Really liked that John Cena was kind of just like grumpy old strong man throwing people left and right. I liked the whole match, except for the one part where they had the Dean has on the calf crusher, and then Cena goes and puts on the STFU, and then AJ Styles taps, and the ref waves it off, which I kind of understand, but at the same time, I still don't get, like, they both beat AJ Styles, so AJ Styles shouldn't be the champion right now. He tapped.
Well, it's no disqualification, no count out, and it would probably fall under the no disqualification rules. If it was a normal match, it probably would have fallen to the first person who got the submission in, which would have been Dean Ambrose. And well, technically,
it wasn't a DQ, though. He just tapped to two submissions. And
sure.
You can make the case that he was in the calf crusher and didn't tap, and he only tapped after Cena put on the STF. So maybe Cena was the one who caused the extra pain and caused AJ to tap out.
Well, it would have technically been considered. He would have considered if Cena had applied the STF, then Cena would have actually broken the hold that Dean had with the calf killer. I don't know how it turned out to be a double pinfall, but I think what they were trying to do was, oh, well, let's put out a surprise that says that Dean, that's one of these two could be champion, and that, oh, wait a minute, we're going to give AJ some time to rest here so that Dean and Cena can further their feud, I guess, was the idea behind that.
I guess I kind of get it, but then I kind of don't, because like, I don't know. I just don't think that spot was even like necessary. All it did was just cause confusion. I know that like whoever Styles feuds with next, that Cena and Dean, they both have a case where like we made the champion tap out, so they're not done. I guess that's why it was booked that way. Still was kind of confusing to me. That was the only thing that threw me off out of the match. Otherwise, I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought everybody did well. I did.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was just middle of the road. I've just seen so many other triple threat matches this year from WWE that this one just kind of fell by the wayside. I did enjoy the strongman spots that John Cena did, and every time that he was in and doing something, it really livened up the match.
Yeah, that's true. I would have liked to see that double AA though.
Oh, I don't know if AJ's back could have handled that spot.
That's true. Yeah.
Because what they need to accomplish right now is they need to keep all three guys healthy, but also put on a captivating match. And it just didn't work tonight, but they can try it again some other time, and maybe it'll work out better.
Yeah, but I will say I think this match kind of the energy of the crowd, because the only other match that the crowd was really into was the Intercontinental Championship match, which we'll get in to a little bit later. Do you have anything else you want to say about that match before we move on?
I'm not sure exactly who's going to be the next challenger for AJ because it seemed like tonight that they set up a couple of different candidates besides Cena and Ambrose. And I mean, this match here was actually the longest match on the card at 21 minutes 40 seconds.
Yeah,
so maybe
but
that's
I couldn't, because Bray and Randy, obviously, due to their finish, they're obviously not done.
Mhm. What about the Miz?
So, but see, AJ is a heel, and they don't really run heel versus heel matches too often.
I mean, it's very easy to turn AJ face because the crowd actually does like AJ Styles,
Yes,
even though
he
he's
was.
trying his
He
hardest
was.
to get booed
Yeah,
by these people.
he was completely over. Like, he was like the most over person in that match, and he's going against two faces, and everybody's cheering him.
Yeah.
So you're right, but I just don't see that they're with how he won this match by using a chair to take out Cena and then get the pin. So that's really interesting. We'll see where they go after that.
3 times he's pinned John Cena.
Yes, he has. The next match up was Carmella versus Nikki Bella, and I'm going to start with my thoughts because they're not very great. I thought the match would have been better had it had anyone other than Carmella in it. She's not good. She's not good technically. She's like, her voice is annoying. It's just not. It's not connecting with me. She's like generic heel 101 with her. There's nothing interesting or compelling or likable to her work at all. And people are like, well, she's a heel, you're not supposed to like her. And yeah, but I'm a smart, and I usually enjoy heel performances, even if I'm not on their side. I don't enjoy anything about her. I'm actually ashamed she's stolen 2 of X-Pac's moves. Actually, I'm like, every time she does the Bronco Buster, I'm like, every time she does the X Factor, I'm like, somebody else. Although Nikki Bella, which I quite approved of, but other than that, I just didn't like. I thought she was not good in this match whatsoever. I did like her. It's entering a go away heat for me. I would not, if she never showed up again, I would be quite satisfied. I would not ask, oh, where's Carmella? Like, I think she got called up too early. Maybe they should have called up Peyton Royce instead of Carmella.
Well, Peyton was hurt.
Peyton
Royce was hurt.
I know she was hurt. Call her up anyway. They drafted Paige when Paige was hurt. So whatever. She's back now. So I just there's nothing redeeming about Carmella's performances for me. It's just, I've had it. And it's just like Nikki Bella's coming back, and she's not the same that she once was. But with a better worker, I think that match would have been much, 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 much better. That's my thoughts.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. Because I generally think the exact opposite. I thought it was actually a very well-worked match. The strength of the match was that Carmella kept going after Nikki Bella's surgically repaired neck. I really liked her taunting, and it appears that she may have beaten up MC Hammer in an alleyway and stolen his pants. Somebody go check the dumpsters in the area near California, because I think she might have just done that. I really like Carmella's gimmick. I really like her, just this scrappy, destructive, actually Massachusetts, not from Brooklyn or the Port Authority, but what you've said before, she's basically a bootleg person from Brooklyn. She's actually the Jersey equivalent, but she's not from Jersey either. She's from Massachusetts. I enjoyed what she did. I enjoyed the taunting. I enjoyed her just basically poking the angry Nikki with the stick. You know how you poke a beehive with a stick? She was doing that, but this beehive has one advantage over her that she doesn't. She may be scrappy, she may be buff, but Nikki Bella is just in a league of her own. You know.
Yeah, I'm glad Nikki went over. Like, I'm glad they put Nikki over Carmella.
Like, one hit from that, and I love how they set it up. Basically, all Nikki needs is one shot. You know, you can pull her hair extensions, you can mess with her neck all day. She only needs one shot with that Bella hammer that makes Wade Barrett cry into his oatmeal every morning. Because that Bella hammer is awesome. It's one of my favorite moves in professional wrestling. Just the amount of force that she puts behind that elbow. And did you see that Carmella did like a 360 flip when she got hit by that thing?
Yeah. I also want to say, just real quick, it's kind of sad when Nikki Bella comes out for me because I'm so used to her entrance isn't this. I just realized that tonight.
You miss Brie Bella? You miss Brie Bella is what you're saying because you broke up there a little bit.
I miss Brie with coming the entrance. It's like, it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is different, but also, you know, it's still the same, you know. She does the whole traditional Japanese Sentai power-up move sequence, the twirl, and then walks to the ring. And she believes that she's fearless. She believes she's fearless, and she went out there and she had a good match with Carmella. She went over, and now we have one person who's potentially going to be challenging for the women's title down the line. And you also have a potential rematch with Carmella, which might end up being no DQ.
Yeah, Carmella isn't done attacking her.
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
I mean, did you see how angry she was after she lost?
Yeah.
Yeah. Epic
okay,
anger.
Any more thoughts on this match?
I mean, I think that they have something here. I really like the fact that this is a great secondary feud. Definitely this sets up down the line that Nikki might face against Becky or anybody who gets the title if Becky isn't cleared by, say, November, December. It could be a really interesting story with Nikki as the champ coming into WrestleMania and Becky as the challenger.
Yeah, it could be. That's what I hope the main event, well, not the main event, but it's kind of the main event for the women's division. I hope that's what it is on SmackDown, Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Nikki, it would make sense if Nikki goes heel again and challenges her. I think she's better as a heel. Even though the crowd loves her and I think she shows a little bit more attitude when she's a heel.
Oh, she showed plenty of attitude in this match as she was being bent like a pretzel by Carmella. They started off, they didn't start off a match with just a tie-up and a collar tie-up. They started by slapping each other and then transitioning to punches. And then they just started beating each other up for 10 minutes. It was great. Yeah. And also, this match got some really good time. It was 8 minutes and 5 seconds, it says here on the wiki.
Okay. I didn't know it actually went that long.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty good. The next match on the card was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhino. So you can go first with your thoughts on this match.
So a couple of house painters decided to face off against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions because seriously, they look like Californian house painters. Did they just got done off work painting a house?
That's much better saying they look like house painters than people are saying that they look like gangbangers. Because I'm like, you obviously have never seen gangbangers before. Because
I don't think any gangbangers would be wearing shoes that are bright yellow. It conflicts with the outfit.
Yeah, I didn't understand those shoes. Those shoes were no. They need to go back to the black with the red shoes. That was good. This was a mess.
This was a great match. The Usos once again employed their patented strategy of going after someone's leg. In this case, it was poor Heath Slater's leg that they decided to go after. They also mixed things up a little bit by having Rhino be the guy that was the face in peril for most of the match.
Yeah, I think he did a good job, though.
Oh, yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, he's really good at selling. That working class guy and the Southerner from the Trailer Park in West Virginia tag team is such a good odd couple tag team. And the House Painters, they did their best to try and destroy these two, but they forgot one thing. Gore! 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 Rhino just snapped one of the Usos in two when he did that move. Gonna need a backup pants house painter after that match.
The other one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they're letting them keep the titles because I thought they'd get it, but I'm not mad. Definitely not mad at that went down. Kind of like, yay, they're giving them a chance. Yay. He gets to keep his double wide and his above ground pull.
For his 27 kids.
Yeah. So that was good. Who do you think would challenge them next? Do you think the Usos somehow weasel their way into another shot, or you think they're moving on to another team?
Possibly they're going to be facing the Usos again, or they could be facing against American Alpha soon.
Yeah, well, I would see if somehow American Alpha gets added and they just make it a triple threat.
Because usually they do triple threat matches in tag matches, because I believe the next card that is for SmackDown, I think, might be Survivor Series. So
yeah,
they most likely will do that with the SmackDown titles, is make it a triple threat match.
Get everybody on the card because it's like, oh, I wonder is Survivor Series going to be like one of those 4-hour-long pay-per-views now?
It'll be fun.
I hope we get that.
I have a personal love of Survivor Series because this was the very first show that I ended up on for the Cageside related podcast. Was the Survivor Series show, the show that no one wanted to do.
The show that I did my very first Tonya bomb on.
Yes, it was such a wonderful experience.
It was very cathartic for me. I had to get that out. I really did. But anything else about this match that you want to talk about?
Love the gore spot. I really love the selling that Heath did with the leg. He did far better than most people do when they're in the position of trying to sell a knee. He's as good as Gable is when it comes to selling injuries. So I really enjoyed this match. It's not going to be over. I think the Usos are going to try again after those belts because Heath or Rhino is going to do something silly and put those belts on the line. And Alpha's going to get involved because they won on the pre-show.
Yeah. And they by all rights, like, they still deserve a shot because they got knocked out of the finals unfairly. Now, I know they had a number one contenders match with the Usos, but they still had a spot in the finals for those titles that they never got a chance. So they still, and they just won tonight. So, yeah, definitely I see them in the conversation. So we're going to move on to the next match, which was also quite enjoyable. Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. Now, you would expect like a kind of a hoss fight, just two guys beating each other up, and that happened, but there was a lot of psychology in this match, actually. And I thought it was very well paced. Thought it was very well worked. Like Baron Corbin, like somebody said in a daily thread that he's the guy who puts on good matches that you don't really expect to be good. So like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice little appetizer.
Well, I think he's now on Reverend Kane's good side for life after he worked Jack Swagger's fingers in this match.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my goodness, that was such a great spot because I actually missed about 2 minutes of this match because I had to go make a snack, and this was really good. Swagger targeted Corbin's knee while Corbin went after Swagger's hand to keep him from doing the Patriot Lock. And what worked out is that Corbin was able to outsmart Swagger in this match. Because when the ref was turned and trying to pull the ring mat back down to where it is, Corbin raked him in the eye and hit him with his finisher, the End of Days, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, ooh, that was a sick-looking End of Days, too.
Yeah. You know, Corbin is getting better as far as incorporating psychology into his matches, and Jack Swagger is the perfect opponent for him. Apollo Crews often worked a little too fast with Corbin, and Corbin was often yelling at him, "Slow down, buddy, slow down. I may be an athlete here, but we got to work some selling and psychology into this match." And obviously, he's been poring over psychology books in his Baron von Corbin mansion. Beyond the usual go back to X promotion thing that he does. And he figured out a way at getting even with Swagger after he allegedly tapped out to him with the ankle lock last week on SmackDown, which actually was just him trying to grab for the rope. So we got a little interesting feud here going, and I really am looking forward to the rest of this series because Swagger is slowed down. He's making sure to do his spots correctly. He's not hurting anybody yet, knock on wood. But we'll see where this goes from here. Corbin is incorporating more psychology and looks like to be a really good feud because whoever wins this feud is most likely going to be facing against one of the champions on this show.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's what they're setting up. That might be why, which the next match, we could just lead on into the next match. That might be why Dolph Ziggler is still employed by the WWE. Dolph Ziggler met The Miz in a Intercontinental Championship match where it was title versus career. And those two guys, like, that was one of the best matches of the entire year. Like, the work, the selling, the emotion, the way it was booked, it was beautiful. Like, I am one of those people who's like, let Miz keep the title and have all that heat so he can put over somebody who gets called up. I think everybody was looking for Nakamura to be the one to do it, but like, I am not mad at this result at all whatsoever. It's like, I was completely satisfied. Like, you know, why not Dolph? Let him go ahead. And he's never been more over as a face, as I can tell. And like, this program has completely like rehabilitated him to a certain extent, to where if they keep booking him strong as a champion, I think there could be something there. I don't think it's time to give up on Dolph. I love the fact that the Spirit Squad came out to try to help the Miz. Like, what do they have against Dolph? Is it because Dolph stayed with the company and they got released? Like, really, they're really...
Well, they did end up in a shipping crate to OVW because of Ziggy's failure to defeat Zig DX. So, might be some hard feelings there.
I guess.
This match was probably the best match on the card. Once again, I'm shocked because it's Miz and Dolph Ziggler, two people you wouldn't have expected at the start of the year to be putting on these classics. The thing I enjoyed the most the opening part of the match where they're doing the introductions. The Miz and his muscle, Maurice. Did you see the daggers that she was pointing at Ziggler as he was standing across the ring? She was right in front of her husband. If you cost my husband the title, I will destroy you. And indeed she did. She is very, very angry now. She's going to be plotting revenge with her darling husband, and now apparently they have the Spirit Squad on their side, which should be pretty interesting. I like the fact that Miz now has hired goons to try and destroy Dolph Ziggler. The match was amazing. I loved the various different things the Miz did, the Daniel Bryan tribute spots to roarous boos by the audience, who just hated that he was using Daniel Bryan's moves against Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph, for his part, is like, he did a really good job selling for once. Usually his selling is like he just car crash bumps and dies. This time he actually made an effort to actually sell the knee instead of just crumpling up to the mat and dying. And the usual weaknesses that Ziggy had, he didn't have them here. Although his cardio is still an issue. The guy was beat red at the end of the match, whereas Miz was perfectly fine. I mean, it's shocking to me because Miz is 36 years old. He had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Miz, by the way. And a 36-year-old is able to keep up with Dolph Ziggler, a guy who wasn't originally a wrestler, who was a reality star, who's now become one of the top heels in WWE almost overnight. And he's got his wife at his side, and now he apparently has 2 goons. And I would love it if they expanded Miz's entourage to include some goons, because there's quite a few goon teams on this roster that could use some direction. And why not bring in the Miz as leader, Maurice as his muscle, and because now the Miz is free for the Intercontinental title. He'll have his rematch against Ziggy, and they'll have another great match. But now it's possible that Miz might be moved into the heavyweight division for the heavyweight title. And I would like to see Miz versus AJ Styles. And I know that they could very quickly do a face turn on AJ to make that happen. And have him be attacked by the Miz and his entourage.
Yeah, I don't see them turning AJ. I think they're going to keep him heel.
Sure, but that's an idea to go for the future. So, like, what particular moves in this match did you really like, Tonya?
Well, I loved that Miz was going after the knee in the figure 4 spot. I really, because I'm a big Eddie Guerrero fan, it's not missed on me that it's his birthday and somebody got their boot taken off during the match. Although I kind of wanted to see the boot come into play. Like, Dolph was getting cheated left and right, so I wouldn't have blamed him for whacking Miz with that damn boot. But it pure. But when Dolph went into the turnbuckle and then the Miz did the slingshot sit out power bomb on him, I thought it was over. There were several times where I thought it was over and Dolph would not die. And I just love that. The best part about the match to me, though, was that the crowd was so into it. And, like, for 2 guys who have wrestled each other over the years so much, this is, like, unprecedented. This is, like, the crowd going crazy for, like, the 1000th John Cena Randy Orton match. You know what I'm saying? These guys,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
These guys have wrestled for especially for the Intercontinental title, like just as much as Cena and Orton have for the top titles. So the storytelling and everybody played their role so well. Like, I loved everything about it. Like, I'm not disappointed whatsoever. The only thing that disappointed me is that I think it should have been the main event.
I think I think for the time that it it would technically qualify as the main event. If this was just a 2-hour show, it would have qualified as the main event. Because then people would tune in to see the debate after the Miz versus Ziggler match. And it would be very interesting.
I think the debate was already an hour in, though.
Sure, but people would have been tuning out to see, oh, wait, we've got Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Let's watch that match next. So it was a way to turn people away from the debate and onto the WWE Network. It will be very interesting to see the numbers of how many people tuned in to watch No Mercy at that hour point. And I really loved Maurice's facial expressions in this match. Just every single near fall, she's going, "Don't give up, darling. Don't give up. You can beat him. You beat him before." And then she unleashed her mace on Ziggy again, and that made me laugh for 5 minutes. Because I'm sure Ziggy has been maced before. It's not an unfamiliar experience for him. I mean, last month he got maced by Maurice and The Miz. Yeah. But this time it didn't work out because he grabbed onto the ropes and tried to rub his eyes on the ring ropes to get the mace off of him. And he had enough wherewithal to... That was the part when Miz removed the boot. And I do believe the boot was going to be in play, but I think they may have lost it in the scuffle and just decided to improvise.
Yeah, but that was a great, like, my emotions were running so high, and I was just like, oh, at the edge of my seat for that match. It was just great. That's a match that could have easily main evented like any pay-per-view this year, really. It was just such a great story. And like in wrestling, the good guy is supposed to come out on top at the end. So I'm not mad that Dolph won at all. Like, and somebody posted a tweet that said that post SummerSlam, the Intercontinental and US title programs were both meant to be stories of redemption. Only SmackDown got theirs so right and Raw got theirs so wrong. And I was just thinking, like, can you imagine if you swapped and put Ziggler in the storyline on Raw with Rusev? He wouldn't be this over. And I'm not even going to say, I don't think Roman's tainted. But, like, The Miz can do no wrong to the fact that, I don't know, might have worked. It might have worked if they had put Roman in.
Miz can work on Raw because he can get past all of the roadblocks that Raw has, and he's done it before.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just don't swap Miz to Raw. Keep him on SmackDown with the Intercontinental title. What I'm saying is swap Ziggler and put him in Roman's program, and then put Roman in Ziggler's program.
Do you remember the last time that Rusev and Ziggler were in a program with one another?
That's my entire point. Ziggler got less over in that program.
I think the most person that was over the most was the Dog and Summer Rae.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
The Dog that I wanted to replace Ziggy on this roster with if he was forced to retire if Miz had won. But I'm okay with the result because it was a great match.
Yeah, and it's just so telling how, like, you basically with The Miz and Maurice, you have basically kind of the same dynamic that Rusev and Lana should have. They should have that same dynamic, but they can't get out of their own way with constantly trying to embarrass Lana and ridicule her. that they can't get heat on anyone that faces Rusev because they're so. I think that's what it is. Like, if you put Miz in that situation where he's constantly getting beat up and Maurice is constantly being, put down and I don't think they have the heat that they have either. It's a fundamental breakdown in the writing. And it's just, it seems like it should be so obvious, but it's not.
Well, the situation...
Go ahead.
It's interesting because I think I brought that up on the last podcast we did, Backlash, where I said that Miz and Maurice are basically Rusev and Lana done right.
Yeah.
And now the point's being brought up again that basically they are the perfect version of Rusev and Lana are just the incomplete version because Rusev is a completely different worker than Miz is. Miz is a tactical worker. He's a guy that will go after those weaknesses, where Rusev is just crushes everybody that faces him. And Lana and Maurice are different as well, because Maurice is in on the game plan. I mean, I'm sure these two over dinner plot and scheme ways to keep Miz's Intercontinental title. I'm sure they have an entire giant book that says 1001 ways to keep Miz's Intercontinental title, and they seem to have employed 500 of those tactics during this match. Whereas Lana is a character that was... Everybody seemed to be really high on Lana, but me and Sims were two people who were like, she doesn't have the depth of character that Maurice has. People already know who she is. She's the girl that is married to The Miz, and she's also the most devious planner of how to retain an Intercontinental title that I've ever seen. I mean, she had the Spirit Squad in her back pocket waiting to sick them on Dolph Ziggler. Who plans ahead like that? Certainly not Lana.
No, her best is just pulling the ref out of the ring.
And doing the Yano shrug, which she did at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that match. That was great. If I wasn't doing this podcast, I probably would have stopped watching the show after that match.
Oh, but then you would have missed this next match, which was Pixie Hulk came out to the ring, she cut a promo, and she said that nobody could beat her and challenge her because she was on a completely different level. And out comes Naomi. And this was a really fun 5-minute sprint.
Yeah, it was fun. Except my only complaint is Naomi she needs to just get rid of the review, like completely. Like I don't see the point.
I don't. What should she replace it with? The bonsai drop?
No ass-based offense whatsoever. Just leave it out. She's got plenty of other moves that she doesn't have to hit that move. That's my point.
Because she's married to the Usos now, so she could technically do that move.
But yeah, it wasn't like I could see why people would be upset that Alexa lost because she is the number one contender. But I think they're moving towards adding Naomi and making the title match on November 8th a triple threat. And also, Alexa wasn't meant to go over, and usually when they replace somebody, they give them the win. If the person was going to lose anyway. That's just like when Kane replaced Randy Orton. Well, I don't know because Bray went over tonight. I don't know. But it's like I can understand where they're going with having Naomi beat her, and then beat her in a way to where when Alexa was on Talking Smack, Alexa was able to heel splain losing, and she actually called it cheating, which I quite enjoyed.
Alexa Bliss is becoming one of the top heels on the SmackDown women's roster just by sheer presence alone. Because she is the ultimate tiny tyrant. Yet she acts like she's 7 feet tall and this ginormous... She reminds me so much of Hugo Anadore from the Street Fighter series. Just the way her presence, that she's a lot bigger than she actually is. I remember looking at a Twitter picture she posted where she's roaring at Colin Cassidy, who's 7 feet tall. And Colin's backing up. She is the scariest heel on this roster. You know, funny thing, I actually started up a Twitter account recently, and I actually put up my very first poll. And it was, who is the most monstrous heel in WWE right now? And I put down 3 candidates. Nia Jax, Gino's favorite, Braun Strowman, and Alexa Bliss. With 7-8 votes, Alexa won with over 83 to 86% of the vote. She got the most votes out of anyone. Nia Jax got 1. Braun Strowman got 0.
He's not scary to me. He's like, he has a toddler face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I can't take him seriously. I don't care how many jobbers they have him squash.
Quite literally and figuratively squash.
Right. I still see that toddler face.
I'm sure he makes a nice jobbler cobbler pie with all the squashes he's done.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I kind of feel him, like he said, it's time for some real competition, and that's true. You can only do so many squash matches with, like, nameless people.
Can he eat Seth Rollins? He would get on my good list forever if he just destroyed Seth Rollins. I mean, you want to make Seth Rollins the ultimate babyface? Have Braun Strowman just destroy him. Although, admittedly, it won't turn a face in my mind. It will make Braun the face because he's destroying him.
You know, he might actually force Seth Rollins to sell throughout the entire match. So, yeah, let's
Selling? What is that foreign concept to him?
No, he only sells until it's time for his comeback. Then he's like, "Oh, forget all that you've seen."
Oh, there we go.
I'm completely fine.
The box. The Seth Rollins fans are now going to be screaming into the ether.
Oh well, I'm used to that because I mean it's the truth.
Yeah.
He's not when it's time for Seth Rollins to make his comeback. He has forgotten what happened in the match. He's no longer hurt, and he's flipping and jumping and bumping around all over the place. And he's forgot that, oh, wait a minute, somebody was working my knee for the past 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had to watch Seth Rollins matches, and the Hell in a Cell match was, oh God, that one was.
You mean Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions. I'm thinking ahead to, oh God, Hell in a Cell. He's going to be working Hell in a Cell in the 3rd match. I'm going to have to watch of Seth Rollins.
I don't know. I think I might skip most of Hell in a Cell and just watch like the two cell matches that they're going to have, and that's probably it.
Roman versus Rusev and Charlotte versus the puddle formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Okay, so let's see, this is a thing that me and some other Cagesiders have, where people are just thinking that Sasha's going to do all these crazy things, when it's Charlotte that's the one that's doing all these moonsaults and flips and dips all over the place. First of all, the WWE is not going to let anybody dive off of the cell unless their name is Shane McMahon. When's the last... Before Shane McMahon died off the cell, you probably can't remember the last time somebody actually did that. So it's not going to happen. People, you can stop worrying. They're athletes. They're wrestlers. You can get hurt taking a regular bump. Triple H tore his quad just by planting his foot for a punch. So calm down, people. It'll be okay. Let them make history. It'll be fine. Nobody's going to die.
Did you prepare all the paper bags that Swift is going to need throughout that entire match? Because that seemed like a message to Swift instead of to the general audience, because you know he's going to be panicking.
I haven't seen him express panic for that. He's actually looking forward to it. I've seen several other people, especially in the rumor roundup, like long threads of "Please don't die, Sasha. She's not dead yet. It's okay, people. It's cool."
Yeah.
Like people are like, well, I have no interest. Roman Reigns and Rusev, they're two men. They could also could break their necks in the Hell in a Cell, but you don't see "Please don't die" Rusev messages. So kind of, it's okay. It's cool, people. It's fine.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine. If they do their spots correctly, it will be fine. I mean,
Right.
like as you said, you brought up a very good point where Charlotte is actually the one that does the more dangerous moves with the moonsaults and all that flippy stuff, which makes it very weird that someone who's 6 feet something is doing all those moves instead of power moves. I mean, she's not a cruiserweight.
Right. She's bigger than everybody except for Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm. And Alexa Bliss.
Well, yeah. Well, Alexa's not on Raw, but okay, let's get into the main event, which probably have less to say about the main event than I just did about stuff on Raw. It was Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Now, this is my opinion of Bray Wyatt's in-ring work. He needs an interesting in-ring opponent for his matches to be interesting for me. And Randy Orton is not that. Like, I think both of those guys need somebody else to make the match, lively and interesting. It's a little too slow and methodical and just... I wasn't into it. And it could have been because of the Intercontinental match, which just had drained me emotionally, that it was just like, oh yeah, whatever. And the only part I really cared about is that Luke Harper is going to be on SmackDown, which when they announced that Eric Rowan was injured, I was like, yes, Luke Harper's coming to SmackDown. And I was right.
And no one believed you until tonight because they thought, oh, he's going to Raw. Then why do I hear banjos?
Oh, I knew it. Because Bray, if they're going to keep him heel, he needs minions. He needs somebody to be doing his dirty work, which is what happened. And Luke Harper, he got a really good pop, so everybody misses him.
Surprise, Randy!
Oh my God! Now see, Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. Now if they have matches, now those matches might be something good because Luke Harper is just one of my favorite people to watch in the ring. He's so good, and I think
Sure, go ahead.
his presence, he's more of a badass. He's scarier than Bray is to me. So I'm just
Harper, because I live in Western New York, I understand Harper's character very well. He is the crazy woodsman that you find out here in the backwoods of Western New York. That kind of guy who's a little unhinged, may have made a trip or two to the local insane asylum. He walks like somebody who is going to hurt you. He wrestles like somebody who's going to hurt you. He destroys you like somebody who is most certainly going to destroy you. I love his discus lariat. I love what I've dubbed sweet banjo music. He does the best super kick in the company right now. And his appearance in this match, which I enjoyed. I knew from the beginning that this was going to be yet another slow-paced, Southern-style main event match with a unfortunate surprise for Randy Orton at the end when Harper showed up to say hi. And the great thing was Harper didn't even touch Orton, so he knew enough about the wrestling rules to go, okay, well, I need to appear from the dark, and I need to scare Randy Orton, and he'll be so scared that Bray can hit the Sister Abigail on him and just finish out the match so Bray can actually get a victory. Because this is a long-term plan that Bray has. First, he wants to destroy Orton or make him his minion. And then he wants to go after the championship. because that's what Bray Wyatt does. He destroys people, then he goes after championships. And I think that he's yet another opponent that AJ may have to face, or whoever holds the World Heavyweight Championship or the Intercontinental Championship is going to have to worry about here pretty soon. Or they can make a run at the tag titles now that Harper's here. And another theory that I talked about on the pre-show before we went on air was the potential for Harper to turn on Bray and destroy him and become the master.
Oh, now see, I've been waiting for that for a while because I've been like, Luke Harper is better than this. I've always felt like you're better than this, bro. You don't need to be following this guy.
I probably won't beat Randy Orton, who's going to be hearing banjo music soon. It's going to be poor old Bray. And Bray worked a really nice match with Randy. Obviously, they're trying to play it safe with Randy after the Brock Lesnar match. So I know some people are going to not like this match because it was slow and methodical, but it played to the two guys' strengths. And, of course, Orton's still getting the cobwebs out of his head after encountering Mr. Lesnar. So better to play it safe than sorry, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the match as much as where it came in. I feel like it would have been a better end to the show overall had they had Miz versus Ziggler. And then Ziggler on Talking Smack is kind of like rubbing it in their faces like, hey, you see that? We stole the show. Should have been the main event, shouldn't we? Next time, make something like this the main event.
Sure, but I think they also realized that they had a tough situation at hand where they're going up against both Sunday Night Football and they're going up against the presidential debate, as you said. So, that's the ways and why they made this the main event for the crowd, and the crowd seemed to enjoy it. There was a lot of people really liked Bray in this match, which also might be, he might, like I said, heading for a face turn because they did the cell phone light entrance, which is always fascinating to see. My mother, who watches the shows with me, because we watch on the upstairs TV, she went, wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, and I've been to a show, and I saw that live. And to be in the crowd, it's like it's like breathtaking. To see it live, it's great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I think Randy Orton did his part well, and they had an enjoyable brawl, I probably am going to be in the minority on this one, and I like this match. May not be perfect, but it was a serviceable main event.
Yeah, it was just kind of ho-hum, kind of lackluster for me.
I mean, it wasn't like it was the main event over... It wasn't like Clash of Champions. I could definitely say that No Mercy was better than Clash of Champions. It had a solid match structure, even with the weirdness of the main event going on first. And what card did you think was better, Clash of Champions or No Mercy, Tonya?
I think that Clash of Champions, wrestling-wise, was better. But booking-wise, that No Mercy was better.
Interesting. I mean, we are not sure what WWE has up their sleeve. For the next SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view appears to be TLC, but before then is Hell in a Cell and Survivor Series. So we might have a stipulation where Survivor Series has the teams from each brand face off against one another, kind of like bragging rights.
I hope not. I hated bragging rights. I hated it. I
enjoyed bragging rights.
I hated it. I hated it. It's like worst pay-per-views ever. I hated it. No, I think maybe just have one SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series style match and make it intergender where you have maybe 3 guys from each brand and 2 women from each brand, and that's it. And just run everybody else's feuds, because the brand split just happened, and if you make so many matches Raw versus SmackDown, and come on, obviously Raw is Vince's baby. Raw's gonna beat every freaking SmackDown team. So no, just one match.
You're making me think of now a dream match between Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. Just her staring down Braun, and then Braun trying to destroy her, and then Alexa goes, "Nope!" Destroys Braun.
Okay. Let's fantasy book this using my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Who I would pick from each side. Okay. I would have from Raw, I would have Charlotte and Dana Brooke along with the New Day. Because I know they're heels faces, but like the dynamic in seeing those people have to work on the team together would be funny. Then on the other side, I would have American Alpha and Mojo Rawley with Nikki Bella and Naomi. That would be my 2 Survivor Series teams. Who would you pick?
Okay, let me think here. For Raw, I would have, let's see, Seth Rollins to get him off of the card. I would have him with, who else is on Raw? Braun Strowman, who could potentially eat him and kill him. Let me think. Third person, it would have to be a guy. Oh, would probably bring in Cedric Alexander, one of the cruiserweights.
Okay.
And the 2 ladies, I would go with Charlotte and Dana Brooke. I think that would be a good combination. On the SmackDown side, I would have Alexa Bliss, Nikki Bella. I would put in Things Faves, the Vaudevillains. And finally, I would have Mojo Rawley as the final member of that team.
So we kind of got a little similar, but yeah, I think that would be interesting. The 2 you picked too,
because both have faces and heels on both sides of the. Actually, I think the entirety of the team, except for the cruiserweight, would be heels, except Cedric, who's like Mr. Happy Guy, going, "Hey, we can do this, we can win," and everybody else is going, "No," while Seth is running away from Braun. Man, that idea of Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman is just like, that's a great match. That's fantastic. It might not be great for the fans, but I would most certainly love Seth Rollins being mauled to death by Braun Strowman.
If that's your dream match.
Well,
okay,
mine and possibly Gino's, because Gino loves Braun Strowman.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I give ratings. I would give this pay-per-view, give it a 8.5, just because I really enjoyed, I enjoyed pretty much everything on the show, except I would have swapped out The Miz and Dolph Ziggler for the main event, and I would have not have had AJ Styles tap out.
Mm-hmm. This was a really relaxing, enjoyable pay-per-view. It was not a pay-per-view where somebody was going to have an aneurysm watching it like Clash of Champions was. It was easy to get into. The matches flowed naturally, even though the main event was weird to start out the opening of the show. But it actually turned out for the better because it kind of felt like an opening match. Whereas the rest of the show just naturally progressed with Nikki Bella hitting the Bella Hammer on Carmella and the tag champions retaining, Alexa Bliss being Alexa Bliss, which was absolutely wonderful. I love seeing the Pixie Hulk work in the ring. And in the main event match, I enjoyed. It was a relaxing Southern-style match that I got to sit back and enjoy watching Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton work this psychology-heavy match. And, of course, the surprise, wonderful return of Luke Harper was absolutely enjoyable. So I don't really have much to complain about this show. I mean, there just wasn't a lot here that I could complain about. I do find a little bit questioning that the tag champs retained, but I think they're going somewhere with this. And with SmackDown, I kind of am starting to build a little bit of a trust with them. I'm willing to see where they're going to go with this, whereas Raw is very much not trusting. I'm not trusting evil Santa Claus and his writing staff to do the show right. And I give this show, I would probably have to rate it between an A- and a B. There just was nothing frustrating about this show, to me at least. I'm sure there are other people who are going to go be saying that this was like a bad show. Whereas, like, they made the most of what they had to deal with, and I'm happy that they improvised the way that they did.
Okay. And with that, I'm gonna sign off. Make sure you check Live After SmackDown Live on this regular Tuesday nights. And before we go, want to say quick thoughts and prayers to all the victims of Hurricane Matthew. If anyone's listening that's been affected, understand I am in Mississippi. I know what you're dealing with. We have terrible storms here too. And I just have my thoughts and prayers with you this weekend, and I hope things get better for you in that area. So with that, good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.